Hi guys, welcome to For Flow with Chloe. Today is my birthday. Thanks, happy birthday. So I am putting out a little birthday celebration or flow, completely spontaneous as to fit with the vibes of Gemini, which I am. I'm an early Gemini baby and they can be very spontaneous and sort of just go with the flow. And we also tomorrow have a full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarians, again, are known for being quite free, expansive, and can again be very impulsive. So I just feel like a complete impromptu freestyle flow. No one knows where we're going to go. We're going for a flow with Chloe, but we don't know where we're going to go. So I just feel like those vibes are really, really fitting to do for my birthday and for this full moon. So yeah, I will post it out tonight. I'm recording this on the 22nd of May, my birthday. So without further ado, let's get down to business on the mat. So we're gonna begin in a bit of a bound angle pose. So let your feet meet. So put the soles of your feet together. By the way, if you see any strange stains, red stains on my feet, it's because I wore new red leather shoes and it rained and it's kind of stained my feet. I did wash them, but it's very much stained the parts of my feet with little red marks on them. So that explains that. Anyway, so letting your feet meet, just grasp onto them. You can hook your thumbs around your back, your big toes, or into your insteps, and just let your your knees fall out, like splay out as far as they want to go. And then while grabbing on to your feet, give those knees a little bounce, 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 just sort of releasing those hips initially. Under a full moon, it's a good idea to sort of release any old cycles, any old energy, any unwanted emotions that might be sort of trapped within our body, so that when we go into the new moon cycle, we're not taking any of our unwanted or stagnant energy with us. Gemini season is set to be quite a fun one. We've got some big Jupiter energies, so, really hoping that comes and blesses me. Jupiter is about abundance, and so that would be nice. I'd like some abundance. Right. So that's enough of the bound angling. We're going to come up onto one knee, put your hands on the floor to support you, stick your foot out to the side, and we're just going to go backwards and forwards, gentle at first. If you would like to put a little bit more into this, you can maybe roll that foot up onto the heel, but gently forward and backward, just going down as far as your inner thigh will allow you to go. Some of you might be feeling a little bit tight today. This is my first movement of the day, so I'm feeling a little bit tight. So grip your fingers, plant this foot that's sticking out, and just move your shoulders past your fingertips and bend your elbows, and see if you can catch your torso and shift back. Like a little chaturanga push-up, and then a little inner thigh stretch. Couple more of these sort of chaturanga push-ups. There we go. Fab. And then we're going to swivel around on that knee, pivot to the other end of your mat, and allow the foot to come up onto the heel. And just sort of rotate your heel round, keeping this leg extended. I'm on my left leg currently. Doesn't matter which leg you're on really, because we're going to just swish it all immediately onto the other side. When you've had a few of those wiggles, just have some little, you might want to be on the flats of your palms. I'm up on my fingers, see what feels right in your body, but have a little push up and down the torso while you're here, and see if you can lower that chest towards the thigh. Maybe you can just do a little bit, maybe you can do it a lot. Slide your knee in and pull your hands back to sort of level with your knee or just your bit of thigh there, and see if you can lift the heel off the floor. This might give you a bit of cramping sensation in this upper thigh here. Maybe you're finding you can lift a little bit, really using your core here, and we're done. And we're going to stretch that thigh out now in case there's any cramping sensations. So it really works this front thigh muscle. So have a few bounces here. Open up that hip flexor. There we go. Bring your hands to the mat. Walk the foot out to the side and get some sort of circles going on. And straighten and circle back and straighten, and just sort of flow with your body, taking it wide, moving from side to side. Fab. Pivot back round to the middle of the mat facing the long edge and stick the other foot out. I'm going to do those hip sinks with our extended leg again. Like a sort of swinging gate pose. Then if you're ready, come up onto the heel, take it lower, and add in those chaturanga arms. Wherever you are, try and flow with your breath. Fabulous. I'm not actually counting how many I'm doing, so just when you feel ready, spin yourself around to the other end of your mat and come back into that half Hanumanasana shape with the foot upon the heel, and give it some ankle rotations. Just feeling out the sort of straightening of this hamstring here. Lovely. And then can be again on the fingertips or flat palms, and just pushing. Little push-ups, and that finger, I like to do this like on my fingers there, like little finger push-ups. But it also really extends through this back hamstring here. Can really feel that today. Tight hammy string all day. Okay, oh, almost forgot. Shuffle the foot back a little bit and bring the hands level-ish with the knee, and see if you can lift that heel up off the mat. Really engaging that front thigh. Oh, that one's feeling a bit crampy. So let's come into our lunge to stretch it out a little bit. And have some pulses here just to wake up that hip flexor on the other side. So just sort of like bouncing your pelvis down towards the floor. Trying to make sure your pelvis is kind of central between your knee and your heel, so that your pelvis is between those spaces so you can balance. If you're trying to do this really high, it's not going to get so much of a stretch. Bring your hands to the mat, walk the foot out, and find those sort of circles. You might want to roll onto the side of the foot and straighten the leg and roll back. Maybe you want to put your arm on the other side of your foot and go round and round. Bending the knee as you come forward, straightening the leg as you go back. Allow your foot to move as much as you would like it to, as long as you're grounding and stabilizing yourself through your hands or fingers. Lovely, so that you're not going to collapse your body weight into that ankle. Fabulous. Slide the foot back. Grip your hands under your shoulders. Make sure they're in line under your shoulders. Give the mat a bit of a squeeze with your fingers. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So you know you're gripping on. Get those knees aligned under the hips. And we're going to arch the spine and look up a little in our cow pose. Push down through the arms, straighten them. Round the spine in your cat pose. Inhale into your cow again. Exhale, push the ground away into your cat. Inhale into your cow. Exhale into your cat. Do 2 more. Lovely. I'm going to take this is my right hand up to the sky, open that chest out, and then thread that arm underneath the left arm and pop your head on the mat. Head can be facing down, or you can be on the side of your head like you're listening to the ground. Do you hear the earthquake? Take a few breaths. Should feel a nice stretch through the shoulder. Fabulous. Maybe walk your fingers to the top of the mat. Feeling a nice stretch in this shoulder as well. So the whole back of your shoulder girdle should be getting a nice stretch, as well as this inner shoulder place. If you're feeling happy here, maybe inhale your arm up to the sky, see if you can do that. And then send it behind you. So try and touch your opposite hip. And if you can, latch your fingers onto the hip crease. Fabulous. Unwind, send the palm back down to the mat. Slide it back to neutral. Open the other side. And thread under the opposite arm. Listening to the earthquake again. That was just me. Take a few breaths. And walk the fingers to the top of the mat. Getting that nice stretch in the shoulder again. Take a few breaths. Lift your arm up. See if you can reach behind to your opposite hip. If you can, see if you can shove your fingers in that gap where the hip crease is, the upper thigh. Making a nice little bind in your threaded needle. And send that hand back down to the mat and push your torso back up. Lovely. I'm just going to do some nice big hip circles. Going one direction. Straighten the leg. Tap, 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 tap from side to side behind you. And then kick it to your nose if you can, or as high as you can, kick it out. Kick it to your armpit if you can, or as high as you can your arm, kick it out. Kick it to your elbow, or your back of your arm, wherever you can get to. Fabulous. And now we're going to go opposite way with the circles. Fabulous. Switch legs, lift it up. Big hip circles. Woo! If you hear any pops, know that it's normal. I always get hot pops and cracks on this side. And then stretch that leg out behind you. Tap, 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 tap. And bring the knee to the nose, crunching in. And kick it out. Bring it up to the armpit. Kick it out. Bring it to the elbow, or as high on your arm as you can to places I'm giving you, kick it back out. And then we're going to take the circle in the opposite direction on that hip. I think that's the opposite direction to where I went before. Now, curl your toes under and sit back onto your heels if that's comfortable for your feet, and give your feet a nice little toe stretch. Sit with a nice straight spine. If you'd like to go deeper, push your knees up and see if you can sit in this sort of squat with the elevated knees. Balance yourself with your fingertips. If you'd like to go even further, see if you can really engage your thighs, your core, and balance by bringing your hands to prayer. If you start to wobble, just touch the ground, save yourself. Oh, lovely toe stretch. Hands back to the mat. Ooh, drum those toes out. Give them a wriggle if they're feeling a little bit crampy or anything. Fabulous. And sit back. Just going to have a sip of herbal tea. Excusez-moi one moment. There we go. Just wetting the whistle there. So if you have a strap, grab a strap. You want to come into your toe stretch or remain in your toe stretch while in this position, feel free. You want a bit more juicy toe stretch. If you have your strap, wrap it round your hands a little bit wider than your shoulder distance apart. If you don't have a strap, you can use a dressing gown belt or a towel that's like a rolled up towel or something, or blanket. Or you could just rotate your arms back and forth behind you one at a time and switch them over. But we're going to do some shoulder flossing. Inhale the strap up, make sure it's nice and taut, and let it go back behind you. Inhale it up, exhale it down. Inhale it up, pause at the top, exhale it back round. And slow at your own pace until I say stop. Lovely. Toss the strap to the side. Now put your hand out in front of you like trying to push someone away. Grab your forearm and bring the arm around and across your chest. Not with your shoulders hunched so this is up in your neck, you're strangulating yourself. Do it nice and low down. And take it all the way out to the side. See how far back round you can rotate it. And bring it back. I'm going to do the same with the other arm. Push an imaginary person away. Take a breath. Grab your forearm. And bring it across the chest. You can also lever back with the other forearm or wrist to get it a bit tight. You feel nice stretch through that shoulder, through that rotational cuff. Ooh, lovely. And then we'll let the arm come back in front and see how far around you can get it to go. Ooh, I had a little crack there. Feeling very tense today. Now, if your knees are getting a bit like, oh, I've been sat on my legs for too long, then just adjust your leg position, come into a cross leg or any sitting position you would like. Make sure you've got a nice straight spine wherever you are. We're going to inhale one arm up and reach our other arm behind us across our waist. I'll turn so you can see it more clearly, like so. Now start to walk this hand that's behind you up between your shoulder blades. And see if you can reach back with the other hand and grab your fingertips. If you're not finding this bind today, you could grab on to parts of the fabric of your clothing. I've not got much clothing on my back at the moment, so just imagine. Or you could use your strap, hold your strap in one hand and grab the other under your strap and bridge the gap that way. Otherwise, melting you back in that nice shoulder stretch bind. And I'll swivel myself back round. Look from one side to the other, over each shoulder, and release. If you were sat cross-legged, maybe switch the crossover of your legs. And we're going to take that on the other side. Reach the opposite hand behind your back. Other arm goes up. Walk the hand in between the shoulder blades. And see if you can grab it with the other hand. Lift your chin back up. Ooh, juicy stretch. So if you are wanting to use a strap here, you would grab your strap with the hand behind your back and then grab the other end of your strap and then walk your hands down the strap to meet, like so. Good, now bring your hands to your knees and just do some shoulder rolls to roll it out. And then we're going to fire out some imaginary cobwebs from our hands. So make some fists. Clench your biceps like woo, like you're lifting a weight and curling. Then straighten your arms and flick the fingers out, like your Spider-Man. Again, slow bicep curl, find the power of the cobweb, fire it out. Sorry, I don't know where that power of the cobweb and low voice came from. Clearly bicep curling makes me have a more masculine tone. And wriggle it out. Humming optional. Okay, now let your feet meet the mat as wide as your mat and lift your bum up so that you're in a nice wide forward fold position, keeping your back straight for now. If you want the ground to meet you a bit higher up, get some blocks if you've got some, or some books, and just like swaying the hips open. Now grab the opposite elbows, bending each knee, swaying from side to side until you feel a nice juicy stretch through the hamstring, letting the spine be long and the head just hang. Maybe bashing yourself on the shin with each elbow, not harshly, just gently. Lovely. And heel toe your feet back together-ish, as far as close together as is comfortable for you, and roll all the way up to standing in your mountain, standing nice and tall, squeezing that bum in to bring the tailbone in, shoulders away from your ears. Reach your arms up overhead, make your little love gun at the top, and then inhale, engage the glutes, so squeeze your butt muscles and take those fingers back overhead in a mini back bend. Lovely. Bring your hands to heart center. Now we're going to lift one foot up off the mat. You can have your hands on your hips, or you can grab your knee and give yourself a little ankle rotation here. Give that knee a hug, give the ankle a rotate. Lovely. And we're going to step it back. Into this forward lunge shape. and lift the arms up. Fabulous. And step it back. I'm going to do that on the other side. And this time see if you can catch your knee on the way out, or have your hands on your hips, up to you, and give yourself a little ankle rotation here. Lovely. Now we're going to step out to face the long edge of the mat. Hello. And we're just going to do some hip circles. Wunderbar. And we're going to fold, hinging at the hips, remembering if you need any blocks here, like so. But we are going to take one hand at a time to the midpoint between those legs, and then twist and rotate the chest open. I'm going to come down all the way to the floor to do this, and twist and twist. Adjust your leg distance apart to wherever's comfortable for you. I suggest about a leg and a half distance. Fabulous. Now walk your hands towards the one edge of your mat and step the feet together. I'll do a bit of a deep forward hold. And rise up to your mountain again. And take the arms up into an extended mountain. I'm going to step back a bit so you can see my hands a little bit better. And we're going to take it into standing crescent. So just leaning, getting a nice stretch to the side body, back to centre. Lean, stretch, other way, back to centre. Bring your hands down to your heart. Open your legs back out. Open your arms out into a star shape. Rotate your toes towards the short edge of the mat. Look down your fingers, shift back, shift forward, and start to hinge on the side of your hip. Option here to come down to a block in your triangle, making sure your chest is nicely peeled open. If you have the flexibility, you can touch the floor. If you have a little bit less, you can put your hand on the inner thigh, or about or below the knee, on the shin, up to you. When you're ready, we're going to windmill that upper arm down to the ground, and just adjust your back foot to be comfortable at a slight angle, sort of 10 to 2, keeping a nice flat spine in your pyramid pose. Take a few breaths here and lower your knee, stacking the other one over the ankle. Hands can come to your hips, or you can sweep your arms up over your head, coming into the Anjanasana. Lovely. Now we're going to come to our Skandasana. So hands to the mat, rotate the knee up and round so that you have still got your knee in that lunge shape, but your hips have rotated to the long edge of the mat. Option again to be on blocks here, holding yourself up. This might be also on your hips, up to you. And you can also come down lower if you have the flexibility and go up onto the heel of the foot. And you can do a little bit of balance here if you would like to. Shift the hips over to the other edge of the mat. And then go straight into a Skandasana on the opposite side. finding where your Skandasana is in your body. Rotate the hips down and round towards the mat, so hips are pointing forward, knees stacked. Finding that Anjanasana. Lovely. And stepping the back foot up into that pyramid pose on the opposite side. Nice flat spine here. Try not to lock out the knee. Back foot is turned out to 10 to 10 on this side for me. Now, you can bring your block with you and place your block here and push into your block, or if you have the flexibility into the ground, or place your hand wherever it goes on your leg to come into your triangle on the opposite side. If you would like to gaze up at that hand pointing to the sky, power up through the legs to standing in your star shape. Now we're going to turn our feet out, bring our hands to heart or to hips, or up overhead to cross, and sink our butt down into our goddess, tucking in that tailbone, circling in that core, making sure those knees are turned out. Fabulous. And power through the legs to come back up. Beautiful. Now step the foot over to the opposite edge of the mat from where you started. And we're going to come back into those standing crescents or side crescents. Do one each side. Bring your hands down to heart center. Step your foot out. Turn the foot to the other end of the mat. Going to find that triangle again. Shift back, shift forward. Remember any props you need. And find your triangle. Rotate the arm down to the mat. Adjust your back foot if you need to. Coming into your pyramid again. Sinking if you can by bringing your chest and exhaling it lower to try to meet your thigh. So don't want to see rounded backs here. So try and keep your shoulders back and your torso connecting to the thigh through the stomach. Now drop that back knee. Inhale the arms up and over, Anjanasana. We're going to rotate to Skandasana and throw your wild card, bring the hips to the centre and see if you can connect your elbows to your inner thighs and drop down into your Malasana, your yogi squat. Your yogi squat can be up here, it can be on blocks and like this. Find your yogi squat for you today. And breathe. Release any tension in your hips. Really engage your Mula Bandha, so that's your pelvic floor, so lifting your pelvic floor here. Really pushing those knees out with the elbows, making sure your tailbone is tucked again so we have a nice flat spine. Step your foot out, finding that Skandasana on the other side. Lovely. Hands to mat. Rotate the hips round to the short edge of the mat, stacking that knee. Anjanasana. Hands back to mat or blocks. Step that back foot back up and see if you can sink your chest lower in your pyramid. Fabulous. Bring your hand inside the foot or on your block and rotate up into your pyramid. Look up your arm if you can to the sky, inviting that full moon energy back into your star. Rotate the feet out. Goddess time, sink those hips. Lovely, and back up. Step it back to center. Now we're going to step it the other way on the mat. And we're going to open the arms out. Turn that foot out as if we're going into a triangle. But we're not. We're going to bend the knee and come into a warrior. Warrior 2. Making sure those hips are nice and open and parallel to the long edge of the mat, so that forward knee is not tracking in, it's tracking out like that, nice and stable. And we're going to reverse that warrior, so bring this hand to the upper thigh and the arm overhead. Lovely. And we're going to windmill it down to the mat, shuffle that front foot back a little, and you might want to be on blocks here or pushing into the mat. We're going to lift that foot, that back foot, up off of the mat. Kicking it back powerfully behind us, trying to find a nice, flat, straight spine. Maybe you want to stay here, or maybe you want to play with your balance and lift your hands off the mat, keeping that leg behind you powerfully kicked out. If you're happy here, gaze is strong to the floor. Lift your arms up behind you again, and then lower the foot down. Come to standing if you can. You may want to put your hands down first, then come to standing. Fabulous. Have a little wiggle, shimmy it out. Now we're going to lift one foot up. I've lifted my right foot and giving myself that lovely knee hug again. Give your ankle a rotation, because it just supported all of your body weight on one ankle. Now, take your foot behind you. See if you can bend the leg and grab that foot with both hands, stretching that thigh out. Lovely. See if you can puff the chest and kick the foot into the hand a little here. Wonderful. Now see if you can take the one hand away and kick the other foot into the hand. Find your grip. Maybe you grip the blade edge of the foot. Maybe you rotate your grip and you grip the thumb to the back of the toes. See if you can now kick that foot into the hand as you lift the other arm up to the sky in your Natarajasana. Fabulous. And put your foot down. And we're going to give ourselves a knee hug again on the other leg, so switching it over, rotating, rotating, rotating. Take the leg behind, stretching that thigh. See if you can kick the foot out. Kick the foot out. And find your grip on this foot. And see if you can kick it up. Find your drishti. Gaze straight ahead at an unmoving point or down at the ground, but don't move your head to look down. Lovely. And lower it back. Have a little wiggle. Lovely. And we're going to do that warrior. So stepping it out. This time I'm facing away from you, sorry guys. And rotate that foot as if you're going to come into your triangle, but bend your knee. Making sure again that your hips are nice and parallel with the long edge of the mat. That knee is tracking out and not sinking in. Gazing down the arm. We're going to reverse that warrior. So opposite hand comes to opposite thigh, other arm overhead. You can look up at that arm if you would like to. And coming back, windmilling the arms down and round to the mat. Maybe shuffle that foot back a little bit. And then lifting the back foot off of the mat, keeping a soft bend in the knee. See if you can kick that foot powerfully back behind you. Your pelvis, your hips are square, pointing down towards the mat. And when you're ready, keeping that spine nice and straight, Lifting the arms up off the mat. Finding your drishti, finding your focus, strong through that grounding leg. Hands out behind. See if you can fly those arms up. And when you're ready, lower it all down. And come back to standing. Down. Take your feet nice and wide apart, hands to your hips. Hinge and let your torso hang. Shift from side to side. Fabulous. Now on your fingertips or blocks, bring your feet about hip width distance apart. Come up onto your toes and squat. Let your hips drop down. And straighten the legs and fold. And squat the hips down. Straighten and fold. Squat the hips down. Straighten and fold. If you have your crow in your practice, then this is a nice time to do it. So put your hands to the mat, give it a squeeze, give it a squeeze, give it a squeeze. Lift up onto your toes and see if you can connect your knees into your armpits. Maybe this is a bit lower for you. Maybe you're more a sort of lower towards the elbow crower. But find where you can get your elbows onto the backs of your arms. Bend the elbows a little bit. And then lifting the feet up. One goes, maybe the other goes. Lifting those feet up towards the butt. Shifting forward and gripping with your fingers. Fabulous. If you have your jump back into your chaturanga and lower. If you don't, then lower your feet down gently. One at a time. And step back and lower down onto your belly. Oh, lovely. Now, just going to lie horizontal for a moment. And when you're ready, we're going to lift the chest and make our arms into a sort of W and send them back and behind, really opening up that front carriage of the body. Lifting and lowering. Fabulous. And lift one leg, other leg, other leg, other leg. So just alternately kicking our legs up off the mat. Fantastic. And if you have it in your practice, reach your hands behind your back. Make a sort of clasped fist. I'm going to lift up into our locust pose. If you have quite bony hips, you might want to put a towel underneath the hips here. Otherwise, lowering down. Taking a few breaths, maybe stretch out those toes here. Grip your hands into the mat. Pull the chest forward and breathe. And send your hips back. Wide, take the knees wide and lower your head down towards the mat. Arms are extended out for your extended child's pose. Have a little rest. Lovely. And slide your hands towards you, coming back into our kneeling position. Now, swinging the legs out in front of us, giving your toes a wriggly jiggly wriggly. Then we're going to bend one knee. I'm bending my right knee. Lost a sense of my left and right there for a moment. I'm going to leave that knee bent and see if you can just point your love gun out, and then sink your chest forward a little bit, bringing your shoulder just past and in front of your knee. If you can get your knee and your shoulder in line, now swim your arms back behind you and find a bind. So your knee, let me swirl around so you can see, should be just peeping out of your shoulder like so. Wonderful. Now reach your fingers and see if you can wrap them around your big toe or the side of your foot, and unwrap your arm from around your knee. Grab onto your other big toe of the bent leg and see if you can lift that leg up and back into your archer's pose. Lovely, and lower it down. Very Sagittarian pose. And have a little fold. And come up. Slide the other leg towards you. Keeping it bent. Then take your love gun, fire it out, sink. Keeping this spine as straight as possible while you do this, but just sort of shifting those shoulders forward until your knee is level or your shoulder is just past your knee. And swim your arms back behind you and see if you can find that bind, making sure the leg, opposite leg, the toes are flexed towards the ceiling. Taking a few breaths. Unwrap. Wrap the big fingers around the toe of the straight leg. Wrap the fingers around the toe of the bent leg and lift and pull that foot back behind. Fabulous. And come to your seated staff. Now, I'm quite in the mood for a little headstand in here. You have the option to take a headstand with me, or you can come to just lying for a moment, have a little rest. So if you are a bit familiar with headstand but not totally confident, maybe when you shove your mat towards a door or a wall. I'm going to go for a tripod headstand here. If you're doing this against a wall, you might just want to go where your forearms, your elbows are away from the door. So find where your elbows, where your fingertips connect to the wall, measure back your elbow distance, and that's about where you're going to set up your head to go in your tripod headstand. And you're going to put your head on the floor, grip the mat with your fingers. I'm going to move back a bit because I'm not getting so close to the door. But if you are doing it against the door, then walk the feet up so that your butt is level, even a little bit further back than your head. So you've got nice sort of straight, you can feel that your hips are over your head. Walk the feet apart and try and get your knees onto your elbows, and then see if you can lift and lift and lift, really gripping the mat, and maybe see if you can lift both of your feet up off the mat like this, and you're already in like a baby headstand. Now see if you can push, squeeze the core, squeeze the core, squeeze the core, and raise the legs, pointing the toes, really squeezing that butt in. It will hurt your head, you will feel some pressure. Then bend the knees and bring the feet back down. Obviously you can be doing that, trying to get your feet maybe to touch the door so that you don't go all the way over. But that is your headstand. And if you're a little bit more advanced, maybe you can do like an L shape up and come into your crow afterwards. So we grip the mat, finding this nice setup, these right angle arms. So the forearms are bent and they're squeezing the mat. See if you can bring the toes together. Squeeze, 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 keeping the legs straight. Really strong through the core. And point the toes to the sky. Ta-da! And then shove the hips back. And then lower the legs. Fabulous! That was a bit of an impromptu headstand that I just felt like doing. I was going to put one in from a straddle when we were going through the sort of moon salutations, but I forgot because I'm just completely freestyling. Lovely. When you're ready, give yourself a hug, especially if you attempted a headstand, had a go at headstand in any way. Lovely. And put your hands out in front of you and slowly lower down to the mat. Fabulous. I see we didn't really do a lot of core play, so let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a headstand special class where we do all of the specific warm-ups to get you into a headstand pose. From here, lift your feet, grab your fingers around your big toes and shove your knees towards your armpits, face your feet to the sky and rock from side to side in your happy baby. Okay. Point your feet towards the sky. And if you have a shoulder stand in your practice, come into it. For those who are new to it, have a go at lifting your hips up off the mat, like so, and then grabbing the back of your hips and pushing, and see if you can lift and straighten your legs and push your weight back into your shoulders. And squeeze your butt and squeeze your core and try and make a straight line. You can also do this with the arms out behind and clench, clasp together. A little bit more advanced. And then as you bring your legs down to the ground and fold in half, you can come into your plough. Wow! If you have your ear squeeze, you can come lower into that. If you don't, maybe just hold your plough or roll out your plough. If you don't have your forearms done but you do have plough, just go into your plough. And then roll, supporting the back, lower back, roll back out. Cross the ankles, hug the legs and give yourself a little rock from side to side. That forearm stand and plough are really good to do post headstand because it straightens out the back of the neck. So any crunching or tension that happens through your neck, you can nicely stretch that out now. Open your arms into a big T shape, keeping those legs as they are, and let the knees sink to the side in a supine twist. And look over your shoulder. And bring your knees back to centre. And let them sink over to the other side. Fabulous. And come back to centre. And lower the legs all the way down. And you can come into your Shavasana, your final resting pose. invite you to stay here in your Shavasana. I am going to come up and quickly, while you're still hopefully relaxing down in your Shavasana, read you a little bit about the full moon in Sagittarius. Full moon in Sagittarius, Thursday the 23rd of May in London, 14:53, New York 9:53, Los Angeles 6:53, Tokyo 22:53, and Sydney 23:53. The Mayflower moon falls in expansive, adventurous Sagittarius, bringing some summery spirit our way. Wouldn't know it based on the weather outside my garden. Anyway. Associated with long distance travel, philosophy, learning and education, Sagittarius full moon is a great time to think bigger when it comes to your plans for the future. If there's somewhere you've always wanted to go or something you've always wanted to learn more about, now might be the time to make it happen. And then I'll run real quick through the themes for questions you might want to ask yourself for your astrological placements. If you have Aries placements, why can't I have fun all the time? Taurus, where is my focus needed now? Gemini, how can I make an even bigger adventure? Cancer, what is my priority goal this summer? Leo, how can I mark and celebrate this stage of my life? Virgo, what do I need to do to break a cycle and create change? I like that one. Libra, what parts of myself am I no longer willing to hide? Interesting. Scorpio, what do I need to say no to if I truly know my own worth? Sagittarius, who needs to see more of my authentic self? This is your season after all, time to get authentic. Well, this moon, sorry. Gemini, it's your season, it's your moon, Sagittarius is what I meant. Capricorn, what do I need to let go of to move forward? Aquarius, are the people around me pushing me forward or holding me back? Pisces, what is next on my vision board? Because you like to have visions, you dreamy, dreamy Pisces. Right, so that's it. And as always, thank you for watching and joining in today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, any comments about potential future headstand class where I go a lot more in depth and do like a really targeted warm-up for it, then just let me know. And thank you for sharing my birthday flow with me. Bye!